Welcome back, classmates. It's another episode on a Friday of Selective Ignorance, and I am joined by probably the baddest classmate, the one who should be expelled and sent to what was the disruption school? What are those called?
You know I was
Alternative
expelled
schools?
out of the second grade, right? I literally was expelled from the second grade.
Expelled out of second grade is nuts, y'all.
I did
I
not play
have
well with others.
Barry is joining us. You may remember his episode with Ish. He is also someone, if you are a Whore Hive member or just a classmate, you see him talking. He did a lot on our assembly hall, but I'm excited to kind of talk the topics with him this week for our This is America segment. We are talking Joe Budden versus Native Land. For Celebrities Say the Darnest Things, we are getting into Kevin McCall versus Chris Brown. And then we actually have a classmate who sent in a response to last week's letter, the Am I Ignorant segment, around her doing the same thing. Apparently having an abortion with the perfect man. So we're going to get into it. Barry is stressed. But I guess before we get there, we'll do a quick little catch up. I do want to say if you haven't listened to this week's episode featuring Glasses Malone, I was thoroughly surprised with how much I enjoyed him. If he was local, I would actually consider having him on monthly. I like him.
I thought you were about to pick a number 4. I didn't know how.
What do you mean a number 4? What is a number 4?
Aren't you down to 3 boyfriends? Aren't you trying to still replace
number 4? No.
Okay.
I would never be in a romantic relationship with Glasses. However, I've been on, he's come on Horrible Decisions, right? And then he's also been a guest when I've done Brilliant Idiots the most recent time. And I don't know if it's maybe his dynamic with Wheezy or just leaning into sex and dating with him because he speaks real West Coast pimp-like. But in our episode on Tuesday, this is going to be embarrassing to say. I'm going to say it again because I know I said it in the episode. It was scary sitting across from him because although I disagreed with damn near everything out of his mouth, he at least could back up his opinion. And Barry, what's crazy is on the episode that I recorded with you and Ish, we talked about like the echo chamber of opinions and how people don't seem to be able to form their own. I was almost impressed that he believed the bullshit coming out of his mouth. And so I was like, nigga, you're like me.
Selectively ignorant with a smile. Look at me. I don't know what I'm saying, but listen to my words.
He knew exactly what he was saying, and he backed it up. And he had real like analogies and deep dives into why he thought the way he thought. And I was like, bitch, me too.
I promise to listen to the episode, but tell me one thing that you said, oh man, that was a mic drop.
It's funny because everyone is arguing right now on the internet. The clip just dropped and Tank is in the comments fighting with people. What? Glasses is fighting with people. He pretty much, everybody got something to say about Drake. So he pretty much said that Drake is not hip hop, he's pop, and he takes from the culture and makes it digestible for people. His analogy was like of Americans making Taco Bell.
Wow.
And how fried chicken is a soul food staple. And so basically Drake would be KFC.
Wow.
And so it was just interesting because did I agree with him? No. But he was able to explain.
So you don't think he's pop?
What we're not gonna do is rehash that conversation.
That was a simple. That was a yes or no.
I think here's the thing, right? When we hear of pop, to me, we think of popular. And so I think it's why, even though Beyonce has transcended R&B, she started R&B. She went pop because white people listen to you. So to me, labeling Black people who are first labeled into certain genres as pop later just means that they've transcended a genre because now they are so popular that the world knows them. You know what I mean?
Michael Jackson was the king of what?
Because he was popular. the nigga. Okay, so here's where when you listen, like we disagreed. He was able to say that Mary J. Blige was the queen of hip hop. That bitch sings. And he was trying to say the singing element of Drake makes him not hip hop ish. Yeah, just because the bitch bop and wears thigh highs don't make her hip hop. Since when is thigh high boots and furs hip hop? Like, no. Actually, if you really think about it, it's Italians. When I think of like the furs, I think of the mob. I think of the mob.
Name a space that you go into. If you wore the thigh highs, you would just be like, okay, she doing it. Black culture.
What do you mean?
That's the only place you walk in. There's no other room that you're in that you can walk in with the thigh highs.
Here's the thing, and maybe because I lived in New York for 13 years, and sir, you were in the Midwest. Them white women, baby, when the temperature drop, them girls be having the thigh highs on now. They get the boots, okay?
No,
now for us, if you want
knee-high country boots. I'm saying the thigh highs.
No, okay, actually.
That's the year-round.
You want to know what I think is hip-hop and black culture? If we talking boots, it's the boots with the fur. Everybody was looking at her.
Hello?
She hit the flow.
Hello?
Next thing you know, Shorty got low.
I just want to warn everybody ahead of time. Sometimes this wire gets loose.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
And the sound just vanishes.
We are not going to do that. First off, don't hate on my vocals.
I can shake it.
And yes, I fucked up those lyrics. But the boots with the fur, to me, is black culture. Like, white women aren't putting boots with fur on. Unless it's Uggs. And then they're wearing a little mini skirt with that bitch.
And they're working boots, the corner.
The heels with... All right, here we go. Not their.
I'm just saying, if I see a Caucasian woman,
a Caucasian, a Caucasian,
I'm assuming not that they ever do you. I want to be clear, do you? But my first thought, the quiet thought to myself would be, That's
it. Listen. Well, you know, King Kylie is out, so and then we got Alabama Barker. We got the white girls still in all of black culture. I don't think Drake does that, but when I say
because y'all not putting up a good fight, y'all ain't fighting back.
You saying that? Wait, black women aren't putting up a fight to keep our culture?
When it comes to certain people, y'all elevate them.
Oh,
we don't elevate them. If somebody crossing over,
y'all, do you hear this black king talking about how black women are? Do you hear this?
Oh no! See, don't twist. Now, what we not gonna do is like,
listen.
Twist
before we get into some pod talk, and This Is America, if you're listening to this, it's Friday. If you are in Atlanta, Georgia, pull up on me tomorrow or Sunday. I'll be there. I'll be at the One Music Fest here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I will actually be on stage with my DJ Jazzy T from the radio station Hot 107.9. Thank you. We'll be doing the set. Let me pull up my phone. We'll be doing the set with the girlies, y'all. It is really interesting. I ain't gonna talk too much shit right now because I ain't on stage yet, but just know Rashida is closing out the set. And so if you want to chew on her bubble gum, you could come and see her. But let me tell you. Is
that an Atlanta term?
It what?
Chew on her bubble gum?
That's talking about like eat her pussy. You don't know the lyrics from Rashida? This is an old song. Anyways, y'all, you could catch me on the Southern Ladies set. Shut up. You could catch me on the Southern Ladies set at the One Music Fest. I'll be introducing Bankroll Nee, Flippa T, Ken the Man, and Rashida. It does say and more. I can't let you know who the and more is, but we do have the Southern Ladies set happening on Saturday. So you could come see me on the stage. And you know, why are you looking like that?
Congrats.
Thank you. It's really interesting.
I never felt older until you said them names. I mean, I know you always joke. I know you always joke about my age. I never felt older than when you said them names.
I'm not gonna hold you. I know Rashida from Love and Hip Hop, and I know Ken the Man. She was supposed to come on Decisions back when it was even Horrible Decisions. I'll be honest with you. The other woman, the first one I said, sings I'm So ATL. Mind you, I just found out I'm So ATL is not I'm So Atlanta. It's I'm So About That Life. And this is where I'm like, a bitch is old. I'm so about that life is apparently what I'm so ATL stands for. And apparently Atlanta adopted it as their own.
Wow.
So Barry, I want you to know, even though you have me by about 5 decades, I too was like, who are we introducing? But I also feel like it's a geographical thing. I think living in like I would know a Connie Diamond, a Billy B, a Lola Brooke, like because I've been in New York for so long, I know the New York rap girlies. I don't know these Southern girlies just yet.
Can I make a request?
What, Barry?
That you do your homework on them so when they come onto the red carpet, you can know their names and introduce them. I don't want you to say, hey, introduce yourself to the crowd. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen because no one likes that. No one likes that at all.
By the way, y'all done heard me already talk about my experience with that. You don't have to work. When I meet these ladies, they gonna think I'm their biggest fan. I'm gonna know everything about them, they husbands, they booze, if they married, if they not, they hit songs, they B cuts. Like I'm period.
That's the least you can do as a professional.
It's the least you could do. So I'm gonna be listening to those songs all week, preparing myself for this weekend. I'm also really excited. I did want to let you guys know before I leave here the other people that I'm really excited to see this weekend. Really excited. Black Thought is taking the stage with Mary J. Blige, Busta Rhymes, and Havoc from Mobb Deep. So really excited for that set, that Saturday night too. So I'm gonna be there all day. Doechii is performing. Doechii is one of the best rap girlies I've ever seen perform. I got to see her. Have you seen her perform live, Barry?
Not in person, but I've seen her live performances.
You don't understand. I brought my best friend Crystal. She did a Delta event because Delta and Uber did a collab here in Atlanta. And I brought my best friend Crystal to the event with me. She didn't even know Doechii. Let me tell you, in the audience, she downloaded and was like, oh, I like this bitch. Like, that's how dope she performed. Like, she turned my friend into a fan on the spot and literally was like, oh, I love all of this. And she a Florida bitch. So I feel like there's that type of connection too.
Wait a minute. The Deltas let you in?
Nigga, Delta Airlines, I'm diamond status. Let's be very clear. We're not talking about the Deltas. We talking about Delta Airlines, okay? Jasmine Sullivan is performing. Really excited because I get to be with Antoinette this weekend.
All right, say hey.
Period. Kaylani, Ari Lennox, Leon Thomas, Flo Odu, which I'm really excited to see because that man is fine. And Ludacris. Also the Dungeon Family, and friends. So it's going to be insane. This is probably one of the best lineups for a festival I've seen all year.
So you got room for a +1 then, right? Because I got some. I'm not a Delta, nothing, but I got some Southwest miles. I
have artists and friends and family bands. So Barry, if you'd like to come down, I feel like I could get you a little pass in there if you'd like.
I don't need a. I could. I said I got you is what I'm trying to hear. I want confirmation.
I will request one more band for you tomorrow.
I need us a done deal, Barry. You're good.
By the way, do y'all see how black folks do? Like, hey, what you got for me? You getting me in that bitch for the free though?
What I'm not gonna do is be there on the maybe like, oh, Barry, I thought. See,
no, I would never do that, Barry. I would come out myself to get you in.
No, because sometimes they don't let people backstage, right? And then so you stuck just out there in the general admission, and
not
once
you
again,
hold on, Barry.
Not you. You know how that is. When you wanna meet up with people and you think you're gonna be hanging, but they say, I don't know how you gonna party when you can't get in.
Wait a second. You don't want to be with Jim Pop? Are you coming?
That's not my city. That's not my city.
You know what's crazy? Is this coming from an elitist standpoint? And I ask that because we're about to get into the intellectuals versus the cavemen, allegedly. So I just need to know what side of the coin you're standing on before we get into the This Is America.
I'm just learning from my friend who had a chance to go to a concert and said, if you think I'm sitting in Gen Pop, you must be wilding.
Yeah, I ain't go. What concert was that? That was Lil Wayne was just here in Atlanta, y'all. And I was like, Oh, he can't get me backstage at the State Farm, nigga. I just went there for Keisha Cole and was dapping up 2 Chainz backstage, nigga. Do you know who I am?
So we know what side of the fence you're on.
First off, I'm an artist. You will respect my craft. Anyways, by the way, me and Barry are in a little group chat, so we did kind of discuss this just a little bit, which is why I have him on this bonus episode, because this is the platform where luckily I get to kind of stay in tune, not only with the culture, but share my opinions as they happen. And instead of hopping on board last week for the Friday episode, I was waiting on that Saturday drop because I did want to hear the response first before we just came in. And, you know, there was a lot happening over the past week. But basically, Barry, you're my co-host this episode. Do you want to give a brief overview synopsis of what happened?
I will follow up. I'll play my role.
Okay. So basically, there was a clip that circulated of Marc Lamont Hill, who is we're gonna take this to court, right? He was, let's say he was the, you think he was the defendant or the prosecutor? Or what is it? Prosecuted?
I think he's the defendant on this one.
Okay. So basically, he and Queen's Flip, both are co-hosts on the Joe Budden podcast. And essentially on air during a spat, there was something that was said off camera that ended up coming on camera. Essentially, they alluded to Marc wanting a higher raise. And I'm bringing up all the details because I want us to dissect this in the way I haven't seen it done thus far. And then I do have a clip to play as well of Savon and Alex from the Need to Know podcast breaking it down. However, basically, there was a conversation that Marc Lamont Hill had with his boss, Joe Budden, around what he wanted to get paid. Now, essentially, he said he wanted more money. And amidst requesting more money, he also alluded to saying he didn't care whose pay had to be cut or who had to be out in order for them to find the budget to pay him more money, right? And so anyways, I guess this information got back to Flip and he felt away and chose to bring
it in front of Flip.
He did.
He wouldn't get back to. He was like,
yeah.
And he was looking side-eyed.
Well, and he also, it was said on camera essentially, and basically, Queen's Flip decided to share his frustration with feeling sunned, little boyed, all the terminology that you want to use in terms of his intellectuality. Is that a word? Intellectuality? Intellectual ability.
Orlando wins again. Orlando would be like.
Basically, he said, yo, you get on this podcast and you do word vomit, but you say a lot of tricky words, and I don't like how that comes across. Marc Lamont Hill responded with, the words are tricky to you. Basically, it got into the fight got so personal where they both eventually ended up standing up, had to be torn apart from each other. And of course, this was released as content. 2 black men not being able to have a civil conversation. Well, Marc Lamont Hill, who was once on CNN and again is a quote unquote intellectual, is friends with the host over on the Native Land podcast. Now, this is an iHeart podcast that dropped last year. They did just reach, I believe, 100 episodes. So they're about a year or 2 in, or maybe they were dropping 2 a week. They were really heavy in dissecting the conversations around the election that took place last year.
Angela Rye's big in this space.
Yes. So it's Angela Rye. It's Andrew Gillum, who, if you guys do not know, did run for governor from the state of Florida, but got caught with a man prostitute. He is a FAMU alumni. And then you also have Tiffany Cross, who, let me share with you guys, she was the host of Across Generations, which was the Will Packer production that I worked with. So it's interesting because, as always, I know both parties. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Now, Tiffany did choose to bring this topic up on Native Land Pod, where the 3 of them chose to all agree that they were not listeners or viewers of the Joe Budden podcast, and that the algorithmed, and this clip with their dear friend came across their timeline in which they chose to essentially share their thoughts. Now, this is where I want to break it down, because when I say share their thoughts, they pretty much said that Marc Lamont Hill doesn't need to be with these hood boogers and gangbangers, and he needs to go head back home with the intellectuals. No, it was. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. Now, I'm not reading verbatim, because if you want to, you can go give a view and click over to the Native Land podcast. But on the Saturday show of the Joe Budden podcast, they did respond. And this is where, instead of recapping all the things, because I think I gave y'all enough backstory, I want Barry and I, who are podcast listeners, consumers, as well as, I would say, aficionados. Barry has shared a lot of professional advice, creative advice with me over the years. But he consumes this shit and really loves it. So
Yes.
from not only a listener standpoint, I want to hear your thoughts on the idea that this is what's needed amongst Black podcasters, because the podcast beef, quote unquote, keeps the shit rolling, but also from a This Is America standpoint, the divide that we have in the classism, colorism, there's all these different dynamics of where we as Black people divide ourselves without the help of the whites. So Barry, where do you want to start this, and what are your thoughts on what's transpired over the last about week and a half with all of this?
I mean, I guess the first thing is to say this was podcasting at its best. This was WWF meets Real Housewife meets whatever. This was must see TV. And then somebody who's a Patreon who saw it live. I mean, the equivalent of live,
Right.
Uncut, unedited, not the IG clips. Spellbound.
Oh, you was into it. You like this.
Spellbound. Now, the opinions afterwards are totally different. But when it was happening, it not only went from 0 to 100, but before that, that's the only thing about this, of all the analysis, people start too late.
Barry, can I ask you, because I feel a little triggered right now, because is it that you as a man like seeing other men behave wild like this? Because when me and Weezy have a little tiff, the audience is like, oh my God, this was unbearable. So what the fuck? Do we need to get up and like be ready to fight? Shit.
As long as you put it behind the paywall, get that money. But the thing is, and I know you don't want me to talk about you and Weezy.
No, not at all. Because we're
but
fine.
This isn't this. If you watch, this might as well have been a reunion show for one of your housewife shows, because that's what anybody who, if you're a true fan of it, you saw this coming. You didn't know when and why. You thought it may have already happened behind the scenes, because Joe was quick to cut something out. Parks, timestamp, you won't see it. But I just think throughout this year especially, he learned how much money he can make through going viral. His fault or not, his choice or not, paywall stuff. Why not? I mean, he said it in the very beginning of the thing. This is going out.
I mean, that's the thing, though. This isn't potting at this point. This is a reality show.
This is a reality show.
These are characters, and he's playing into each of their strengths and weaknesses. That just is what it is. And I mean, I guess when you have 5011 co-hosts, you may as well make an ensemble fucking reality show.
This is why he come for you every time.
No, that nigga saying my name. Hey, Joe. What's up, Joe? It's interesting to me, because you also got to realize, like, when they're potting for 10 hours, I can only imagine, like, just when they be done. Like, sometimes you're agitated. I mean, me and Weezy sometimes will record 6 episodes in the span of 2 days. So you have things that you're dealing with in your personal life. You have maybe a tone or an inflection or something that bothered you 3 hours ago that's now like affecting you in current time. I think it was interesting to see. I'm not mad that it wasn't cut out. I do absolutely hate Native Land hopping in this to shade or pretty much like push people even away from supporting a platform like this because they thought it was so bad. Because I don't think any Black platform, any Black creative podcast or show should be talking down on another one. I will say
True.
that. Secondly, I don't like the divide, and I will align myself with Ish's thoughts here, where
Of course you will.
Flip, shut up, but Flip may not have the degrees, but he's built a multi-million-dollar business. And so when
Right.
we get into the classist discussion or the intellectual discussion and breakdown of Black people, um, it was almost triggering to me because of this Florida education twang that I have, even though I have 2 degrees,
Right.
because I discuss sex. There's a lot of people who diminish what I'm able to accomplish and who I am as a Black woman speaking on a platform and what I've been able to do simply because they feel like I lack education, which is not the case. Um, but again, this idea that a degree puts you above someone else, I didn't like the classes talk from it. I'm also completely against, because people do it to me and Wheezy with decisions a lot, watching clips and making your
Right.
assumptions of who a person is, what they are, their characteristics, and for all of them to acknowledge that they never watched the show and only took
Right.
it from that. It was disgusting how they talked about Flip, because I know that I've been discussed in that fashion, and you don't know me. You don't watch the show. Like,
Facts.
how dare you, as another Black person, get on a microphone and diminish another Black person as if we not fighting for our lives?
Facts. I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
the thing is, I mean, and we talked about the pod as soon as Mark got on there, and
Yes.
we were kind
I
of
love
like
Mark on there.
it. I've always respected him like I'm on the pod, but I definitely got introduced to a new Mark since he's been on there.
I
I
love
I,
it. What
I
is
knew
it?
that.
The dark Lamont Hill?
The thing is, and I'm gonna say this, and hopefully he'll take it in love. My man is slick talking.
I
And
love it.
it's not the big words thing. I mean, I could keep up with anything he's talking
Nah,
about,
he
any of the
quick.
topics.
He quick.
You know me, the little zingers, and I think that's what the problem is. I mean, that's where this all builds. I mean, there may be
I love
money
it.
issues behind the scene. There may be bigger issues behind the scene that they Flip is real quick to drop hints about stuff, and I
He
can see
is.
that
He is.
being
He is.
annoying to people who are trying to keep stuff on the low.
I agree.
But if anybody who truly watched that, or even the lead up, going back 2 months maybe,
Yeah.
Mark be eating him alive with the jokes. He don't
Eating.
even pause. He don't break. He don't sip teeth and hit him with 4 lines, and Flip be like ready to go. Wait, what you say?
No,
What you say?
I ain't gonna lie.
And
He does a
that's
good
just
job.
what it is.
But to me, that's like, I mean, whether it's what they do in Philly, I know in Florida, John and somebody is like, you got to be quick with the whole with how you gonna talk to somebody. I think that the issue and why even the shit be tricky is because if you ain't listening, you ain't gonna catch it.
This is true.
But it do be like real smooth, down
I mean,
playing.
sometimes it's dead in their faces.
It is, and they don't catch
he's
it.
been so he does it so frequently. If I was them, I would be listening to everyone. I would be staring that brother in the eye 24/7. Like, he was that the I picked up on that,
Listen,
and that's why, and especially talking about Angela and all of them, they capped for their brother.
yes.
I'm
I
not
will
saying
say-
that Mark was the villain, but and then we kind of talked about this. That escalation was 70% Mark.
Yeah.
And if you're just gonna get caught up in the educational, smart, intellectual thing and ignore how we got there, that's what happens with Black people all the time. They show the arrest, but they don't show the crime.
You know what this makes me think of, which I hate too, the conversation around being the bigger person. Because I think essentially, like, people would have thought or assumed that Mark in that instance should have just been the bigger person, I feel like, and brushed it off. And I think he did maybe act out of character and here's why
Or
I say out
showed
of
his
character.
character.
Well, or showed his character, but here's my thing, right? If this same conversation happened in a CNN room, would he have showed his character like that in front of a white man?
Not
And so,
at
but
all.
my point And so to me, when we're talking about Black podcasters downing other Black podcasters, let's be very clear. Joe is not innocent here. Joe has talked about a
The
lot of
puppet
other
master.
he is. That's exactly what he's doing.
But
if you're gonna sit here and talk about how these people can't have an opinion on Flip and how Flip runs this business and how Flip isn't dumb or a Neanderthal or all these things, I think the same thing can be said about how Joe has critiqued Nori and Gillian Wallow and all of these other Black podcasters,
or anyone who said his name in passing,
right? Yeah. Now I want to go back to the being the bigger person, because if we're talking about essentially Black on Black crime, I think that the way we show up, even with our peers, if you're going to be the bigger person in a room full of white people, like, I don't know, I just feel like there has to be some level of say it with your chest, like I said last week, like, but be consistent across the board. Or to me, I don't know, this was given show your ass, and I think he showed his ass. And to me, I just think that there's more power in controlling yourself with these whites, which clearly didn't fuck with him anyway because of whatever anti-Semitic things that they claimed he said and why he lost his position over there. I just feel like the way he stood up ready to fight Flip, you're not going to tell me there hasn't been things said in those rooms full of white people and that he responded the same way. I don't believe that he would have done that.
Not just, we both watch the pod. We watch all kind of pods, but we watch Joe's pod.
We do. Well, I listen.
I'll give you that. Where does the word sucker lie on the list of everything you've ever heard on that podcast? I'm assuming everybody, and it looked like it, everybody was shocked.
That it meant that much? Yeah. The sucker part? Yeah.
I mean, you can see their faces. Your boy in there was like, huh? What is happening?
You know what it's given? You know what it's given, actually? Okay. So sucker is not a crazy word. Now, I do want to respect Marc's marriage at this point, but I feel like a woman back in the day broke his heart. And it got back that she called him a sucker to somebody. And it broke him. This is all allegedly. This is all just me coming up with a conspiracy theory as to why this word meant so much. It's given that a woman in the biggest rejection that probably he's ever felt in life called him a sucker. And it triggered him. It triggered that nigga.
It definitely was triggered.
Hold on, Barry, what is a fighting word to you? Is there a word that would make you, like, to me, spitting is a fighting act. But
oh my God.
Is there a word? There's the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me bullshit. Is there an actual word that someone could call you that is immediate fighting words as a man?
I would say me personally, because I had anger issues as a kid, as I said, expelled in the second grade. I've done the counseling, done the work, that there's probably not a word now, but a non-Black person using the N-word aggressively.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I know I would have an out-of-body experience.
Okay. I actually, yes. And you know what? In all of my biracialness, same.
Yeah.
Don't hard ER me in a disagreement.
Any space, anytime, anywhere.
Right, anywhere. Okay, hold on. Anywhere but the airport. Someone can get away.
My job.
I'm not gonna lie. Someone can get away with calling me a hard ER in the airport because you not getting me on no fly, bro. I promise you not getting me on a no
in
fly
front of people.
In front,
and you know that bell guy that's pushing that old lady looking at you like, girl, you gonna take that?
Hold on, Barry, are you ready? You could hard ER me, and I could see 100 of these up, and call me pussy, bitch. I'm walking away, and y'all could talk shit about me. Hard ER me in the airport. I'm not ending up on a no-fly list. So anywhere else, though, you get in these hands. But I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not fighting in the airport.
No, you gotta go full Karen. I don't know what the Black version of Karen is. That's when you gotta go, oh my God, I need Black girl tears. I need your West Side to just drop that single tear like Denzel. I can't believe you called me the N-word. And just live, stare in the camera, get the good ones.
Oh, I gotta get the tears. Okay, I can do that.
Oh my God,
I can do that.
Oh
I can do that. But Barry, that's actually what I'm not finna get up and fight. Not at the airport.
We know you're not a fighter. We saw the video from the nail salon thing. I got you.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, I think the action was overboard. I'm not mad at Joe wanting to capitalize off of it.
Yeah.
And overall, I do think Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, Andrew Gillum. I'm not sure Bakari Sellers was on this episode, but I only say that because from the clip that I watched, I didn't see Bakari talking. I only saw the three of them. And it's not the clip. I did go to the episode because I sent you the full episode. But basically, I just think that in this creative space, the same way I'm going to have to know these girls that I'm introducing at the One Music Fest on Saturday, on tomorrow, is the same way that I think if we're going to critique other creatives, we need to know the full story. What they could have done is watched another episode to see the types of conversations, because to be fair, I think Marc is doing a phenomenal job bringing other conversations to the platform. I literally tweeted it. I was unaware at the outrage coming from those comedians going overseas. And what's crazy is,
and they covered that.
I believe y'all will hear me talk about my thoughts now that it's over. I did record an episode speaking about it specifically that y'all will hear on Tuesday. So check it out. But I talked about even just being able to hear that. Y'all will hear me give Marc his flowers again, because it allowed me to go down the rabbit hole of what it was. Of course, my super producers are petty and asked if I would ever go to Saudi Arabia. So y'all, what?
I was almost going to say what you would do for a check, but it's none of my business.
Oh, I would do a whole lot for a check, baby. I ain't even going to hold you. You know what's crazy? These bills ain't going to pay themselves.
This is fact.
And baby, I can't spend this money when I go to heaven, because I'm going to heaven, I'm like Trump. But when I say I'll do something strange for a piece of change, okay?
But the one thing on this topic that we really haven't discussed, which is kind of there, but it's not there.
Talk to me.
Obviously, I'm a black nerd. Got the little stuff behind me, do anime, do all the things. It's being an intellectual or being smart or being nerdy and being black. And that's kind of, I know we've chosen with these two to choose the intellectual side. It's just being different, and this kind of goes to the conversation we had with Ish.
Wait. You think you and I have chosen to identify along the intellectual side?
No, I'm saying the way people have looked at this between Ish and Marc, that they looked at it.
You mean flipping Marc?
Flipping Marc. I don't know what I said.
Yes. You miss Ish too.
It's my homie. We connected. It was a good time.
Yes. Okay. So yes, they did decide to draw that line and barrier between, unfortunately, educated blacks and uneducated blacks. And I'll say that because that's literally what it seemed to be. The fact that they even said, come back home.
Right.
What does that mean?
And I listened to it and I was like, I mean, the one thing, and I think you said you're going to play the clip from Joe. I mean, a Joe rant can go anywhere.
Well, no.
Sometimes it's cat.
No. I told people
he was on point.
Yeah. I told people they could go listen to that. Joe went on a monologue. I insert clips. I'm not inserting a monologue from Joe, because then I feel like Ian might come to me and want a paycheck from this episode. So no, I'm not going to insert the clip. I like what he said. I love that he supported and stood up for Flip in that moment. But I think, again, it does go back to Barry, what I was talking about in terms of us constantly drawing these lines. The fact that, yes, we drew lines even between Drake, real hip hop artists, and not real hip hop artists. And also what I really don't like is we constantly lean into the fact that we as Black people are not a monolith, right?
True.
However, we love to align ourselves with the struggle, the hood factors of it, all of these things that, when also someone like an intellectual, like an Angela Rye, or anyone who's gone to college, then shuns the same part of, okay, we're not a monolith. I think we can all exist. You even identifying as the black nerd, those exist. There's black liberals, there's black conservatives. It's why I've also said, don't really care for what she says, but don't hate Candace Owens. I know that I love that as black people, we can have all of these different voices and show that we're not a monolith. And so when we have black people acting like they're better than other black people publicly, you know what these whites are doing? Seeing like, see, this is what we want. It's going to be easier. Like literally.
But the thing that's so funny, I mean, like I said, we both watched Marc since he's been on there. I don't know if Angela and them really know him, if they are the way they were talking about it, like every day he's holding the Bible and reading to young kids from Gaza to make sure they're okay. I mean, that's not completely who he is. He has passions that way. He's an activist, definitely, but he's hood. He's the first one to say it. And the thing that's so funny, knowing the audience, knowing the podcast people, is what you can do from the spectator role. They all have embrace street code. A brother willing to fight over the word sucker.
Sucker is crazy.
They all should have had an opinion and none of them said it out loud. Your girl Mona was the closest one to saying, you are ass for that. Because that's any other world. If this happened on another pod and they were telling the story exactly the way they happen here, they would have called Marc every kind of soft thing in the world.
Because how you getting that emotional and irate off the word sucker, which is why
0 to 100.
Which is why my theory, y'all, let's just blame women. That's what black men like to do anyways. And so I'm leaning into that logic, saying that a woman broke that man's heart.
My headphones again. I don't know. Is this Zoom? Can you hear me?
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right, well, let's get into celebrities say the darndest things. Y'all, we're talking about Kevin McCall versus Chris Brown. And if you've been under a rock, bitch, I don't know what to tell you. Basically, Kevin McCall, if you do not know, hold on. Let me give you guys the correct background, because, of course, Barry, who was born in 1912, wasn't really sure about who Kevin McCall was. So let me get into explaining that to you. Y'all already know I have a breakdown here. Here we go. So Kevin McCall, for those of you who do not know, is a producer, singer / writer, I guess. Hold on, I have a breakdown of him, y'all. Olan Mayu. Okay, here we go. All right. Kevin McCall is best known as a singer-songwriter and producer associated with Chris Brown's CBE label, most notably for co-writing, producing, and being featured on Chris Brown's hit song, Deuces, which did win a Grammy. He also was a part of the song No BS, Strip, and allegedly almost 30 other Chris Brown songs. He's been in headlines for his very public and past relationship with America's Next Top Model and former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Eva Marcille, where they share a child together. Now, basically, this week, he was in the headlines twice. Now, Barry, this part you probably don't know. So earlier this week, it went viral that Bryson Tiller gifted Chris Brown a Lamborghini for bringing him onto this stadium tour that did end up grossing over $100 million, right?
It crushed. It was a great tour, by the way.
Wait, you went to the show?
Oh, yes.
When I say he ate, y'all, if you ever get the chance, like, not even on no, we gonna talk about Chris Brown like he's Michael Jackson right now, but if you ever get the opportunity, because you love live music, you love a performer, Chris Brown needs to be on your bucket list if you have not seen him perform live yet. I've got to see him perform 4 times in the last 2 years, because I went 2 or 3 times to the 11/11 tour. No. I've never paid for a concert ticket. I've been seeing Chris Brown perform live since like 2012. I've been a really, really big fan of his. I know his team. We're not cousins, but I know his cousin. And so, I've been
Again,
around.
of
What?
course.
I'm just saying,
Wow. The
what?
rumors are true. The rumors are true. That's what I
Listen,
was just saying. The
listen,
rumors are true.
and shout out to Al Prada, who used to be his tour manager. But I've been seeing him perform his albums, and so it was amazing, like literally being able to see him go from be like right after everything happened with him and Rihanna. I remember going to a show that he did at like an amphitheater in Dallas, um, and so to see him go from an amphitheater to even seeing him in an arena. I got to see him at Barclay last year as well as State Farm Arena, and then got to see him at MetLife. It was like it made me feel like how I felt when I got to see J. Cole perform at Rolling Loud in front of 100,000 people, because
Right.
back in 2010, I paid $20 to skip the line after paying only like $20 for my ticket at Revolution Live in Fort Lauderdale to see J. Cole perform. Was this
You
Born
paid for
Center?
tickets?
This was first off for J. Cole. Um, Before now, I'm technically Dreamville.
Wow.
I traveled and paid for everything J. Cole. I buy his albums and everything. Chris Brown is one of those artists I do the same for. But basically, getting back to the beef at hand,
Let me add one comment.
please, please, please,
I
please.
mean, especially even for somebody my age. We don't have to go through the list.
96.
But
Y'all, he's 96 years old.
Here we go. I study music more than I study podcasts. He has demanded the shuffling of the top 5 performers
Of all time.
of all time. I'm not gonna say who's where, but
Damn,
you
know I was
really
about to make you do the list.
right.
I was about to be like,
I know you were. I'm not going on the record
I
for
was about to say,
nothing.
name 4 people better than Chris Brown at performing.
But I'm not saying who's who and where's anybody. If you are truly a fan,
He's top 5.
you have to look at the top 5 again. You have to at least consider it. You have to at least consider it.
Can I know who else is in that top 5 that you're putting Chris Brown with?
Yeah, the Reddit don't even know me yet. The Twitter sphere, Black Twitter, does not know me yet, and I don't want this to be. I know he didn't. This will not be where I'm introduced to the world.
I will say, I'm gonna do it because it's already been done, but I'm gonna let it be known that I agree with him. Ty Dolla $ign recently went on a podcast, and I think it was Drink Champs actually. So Ty Dolla $ign, who was a part of also writing some top hits by Chris Brown, literally said he had the best stadium tour this year after saying, and I went to all of them. So I do want to say that means Ty Dolla $ign and myself believe that Chris Brown's show was better than, actually I didn't go to both of them, but was better than Kendrick Lamar and SZA's GNX, and was better than Beyonce's country tour.
Now, I'm a big B fan, but I'm not in the country, so I didn't go. The proclamation, that's a full argument. We would have to get a meal and sit down and talk about.
Did you go to Renaissance?
Yes.
Okay. So how would you compare
But I would
Renaissance
say, even
to
starting
Chris
with
Brown?
Kendrick and SZA crushed it. It was just a different energy.
Okay.
It was just a different energy. I mean, from the Chris show, even though he did some of his ballads, he did a lot of his ballads.
He did.
That was a long, high energy, flashing lights
from
hanging
beginning
from the
to end.
But the way Kendrick, I mean, even if you just watch the clips from Kendrick's on his world tour, to be across Europe and them, it was a different vibe. It was just a different. I mean, it was both were hip hop, both were R&B.
Yeah.
But it was just, it's like doing jazz and doing hip hop.
Barry said you can't compare these black tours. He really want to say, Mandii, didn't you just say these black creatives can't talk about other black creatives? Why we got to put the other black creatives down? Which is crazy because I'm not putting any of them down. I do think Beyonce's, I went to the Renaissance show twice.
Right.
And to me, while Chris Brown is, I would say, the better performer from going to that,
I mean, and there are different types of performance
they
for
are.
sure.
They're for sure. But I will say, nobody, no show that I've ever been to, mind you, I've been to a lot. The graphics and stage design of Beyonce are untouched.
This is true.
Bro, Beyonce, and I'm watching these videos and these photo shoots, and I said, bitch, you in about 50, 11 different looks, ho. Like, and the way it goes, and when I say I've never seen production value like I saw from Beyonce, production value, and listen, you know I toured Barry. I be trying to be like, can we get a graphic designer to make our visuals look like Beyonce, bitch? Like, what is the budget? God damn, they look good.
Not to be nostalgic, not to tap into the given. When Mike passed, when he was working on that big tour, and I know they made a little documentary movie out of it. That looked like it was going to be the greatest of all time. But since it didn't happen, I do see Renaissance as
yes.
If you go back, I don't know. Did you see the Michael Jackson movie clip of him preparing for the tour? I think This Is It.
I might have to look at it, but I'll even say I don't know if it would capture, because I did see the Renaissance.
Trust.
Yeah, but I saw the Renaissance like documentary, right? Mm-hmm. And seeing them preparing for what the show was, and then seeing what it became, I don't know if I could visually understand what the show was, because the behind the scenes of that Renaissance documentary didn't encapsulate what the finished product actually ended up being. It was incredible.
I am saying,
okay, I gotta watch
it. You're gonna drop tears on the behind the scenes.
I gotta watch it.
His famous quote, you've heard it 100 times, you just didn't see it. Michael's working with one of his music directors, and he's trying to rush him and everything. He's like, Mike said, shh, let it sizzle. Jay has used that verse a couple of times. It is, watch it. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna leave it there.
I'm gonna watch it.
But we can shuffle the top 5.
Okay. Well, basically, getting back to Kevin McCall and Chris Brown, he went on the Back on Fig podcast / live stream with T-Rail Smack. Heather wasn't there, but shout out, that's fam over there on the West Coast. And he sat with them and pretty much burst into tears.
I didn't get paid for Look at Me Now. I wrote on that. I wrote a whole verse, then Busta Rhymes cut the verse off, but I still did this part. What was we talking about? I need that bread. All this shit could have been shit I could have paid for my lawyers and shit. So I just lost both of my daughters is in Atlanta right now. I don't know what the fuck is in Atlanta. I lost rights to my daughter, my oldest.
So you lost all custody.
Like my child support is $2,000, right? Deuces ain't been popping since 2012. Why is my child support $2,000? So I had all this back pay. Then I sold my catalog for $500,000. I only got $250,000 out of it. I bought my mama a house for $50,000, and then I had to pay all this child support shit off. Why was my child support $2,000? I'm not Future or none of these. Like, watch this. Why the fuck I got an EBT card? And this nigga Breezy Bro and made 90 whatever the fuck million, and it say KKKKK Mac. Can I get 25,000 for them four songs I owe you, bro? I just want to leave, bro.
Leading up to who he is.
I'm not even tripping though. I got an EBT card, my nigga. Like, what the fuck, bro? I can't even get nothing, bro, man. Y'all niggas want to see a nigga cry in here, so y'all can think I'm a.
Bro.
That shit ain't fair, nigga.
Hey,
I'm on EBT, bro.
Hey,
that's why.
Bro. Hey, look, bro.
I'm down, bro. Say my name, bro. That shit is better. I had to go up in that motherfucker and hide my face with a mask like COVID, bro.
Don't act like every nigga ain't had no motherfucking EBT card.
On the set, a nigga had an EBT card.
Man, I might get an EBT. I walk in the building and look at me crazy.
Let me tell you this.
That was the clip.
Wow, that was exciting.
Shut up.
You see that camera work?
Shut up. But basically, yeah, he cried about having to be on EBT, and pretty much said that Chris Brown owes him. Can he get $25,000 for whatever 4 songs? Apparently, he's owed money from, because he just paid he just had a $90+ million tour. It was given pocket watching for sure, but it was also given like, my nigga, get the fuck on. Like, who says it all the time? Hold on. If if you made me, go make another one. If you made this hit, make another one. If you did it, do it again. To me,
I think that's easy. That's easy to say.
Of course. However, it did come out because now clips have resurfaced that a couple of years ago, he sold his back catalog, or he sold his publishing for $500,000. He talked about on a Vlad interview that he blew millions of dollars. He was complaining about paying child support. He's allegedly a woman beater, and has also not seen his children in damn near a decade. Now, he does not have custody and has not seen his children with Eva Marcille, who's the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star. And as y'all know, there is no empathy for me with a nigga who didn't do the paperwork. What you want me to do? If you made these millions, you spent it, you sold your publishing, what is owed to you, bro?
Thanks.
And then to me, to know that I do think you unwell, like he also, when Bryson Tiller gifted Chris Brown a Lambo, he hopped right on the internet talking about some light-skinned pussy, alluding that Chris Brown was gay. He also, recent tweets have resurfaced where he pretty much said that Chris Brown and his daughter would be in a casket. Like, he done said some unforgiving shit. Now,
would you interview him? Knowing all of that.
Here's the thing. I would interview damn near anyone. However, and this is going to sound problematic, do not want to sit with an unwell person. I barely have conversations with my own biological sister because I don't think that having a conversation with someone and promoting a conversation with someone who is unstable or unwell or maybe unmedicated or undiagnosed is not something that I feel right in my spirit to do. And so because he clearly has these manic outbursts and episodes and things like that, unless he chooses to do the path of therapy and medication, like we just heard Gucci Mane discuss on the Breakfast Club this past week, unless he's taking steps to be better, nah, I'm good. And the fact that he went on there crying, begging for money as if literally a couple days before he didn't call that nigga gay online, get the fuck out of here. Now, I wanted to ask you, because I don't like really talking about people. I wanted to ask you, Barry, what could someone do to burn a bridge that you would not rebuild? And I asked that because literally Chris Brown's response was, boy, like, hold on, and I actually have what he said. Chris Brown actually responded and said, remember this, you can't walk across a burnt bridge. And you know what's funnier than a troll? A broke one. I know that's right. Ha! Wow. Now,
you ain't got to kick him. You ain't got to kick him. Just let him be down.
Oh, no. If you take it low with me, I'm taking it to hell. So I love Chris Brown for that response. Because, bitch, we not reburning this month. We not rebuilding this bridge that you burnt. Fuck, nigga.
But if you're winning, you could just keep walking. Chris got so much going on in his life. This shouldn't even have caught.
No, you know what it is? Chris is rich, bitch. And just like me, I work as hard as I do so that I can respond and be petty like he does. Like, he's like me. I'm not having sympathy for you, my nigga. You talked about my kids. You talked about my life. And now you sitting here begging me for money. Nigga, what you need to do is go stock up on canned goods, because allegedly EBT and SNAP is about to end coming November 1st if this government shutdown don't come to a close. So you need to go get non-perishables, which with whatever is left on your balance. Sorry, man.
Wow. I mean, there's people out there in hard times. I'm only
being petty to him. I know there's about 4.5 million households that are about to be affected with that. But what he need to do is go figure out what food pantries he needs to go sign up for instead of crying on this motherfucking podcast.
The reality is real. That's real. There is no entitlement in my world. No one in my world is entitled to anything. I have 2 adulting daughters. I have their back, but they're not absolutely entitled to anything. I just
Right.
love them, so I give and support them. And it, no matter who it is, if you're talking about Rockefeller, whatever, was like, you owe me. You owe me.
I hate that.
I watched the 5 Heartbeats just like you. And when Eddie Kane tried to get back in the band, like, bruh, no. I can sing. Nope. I'm sorry, you're on your own.
Barry, have you ever had a bridge burnt and somebody tried to come and walk over that bridge? And what did they do for the bridge to be burned?
I'll be personal, but I won't go into it because I know they hear it. I haven't talked to my father actively for about 10 years, but
okay,
that's family stuff, so I'll leave it there.
Okay.
But I've had friends, if you betray me, you betray. I'm a giver of friends. I know you talk about the two. You support your friends.
Yes.
Not too many things.
Absolutely.
But if you betray me for real,
what is a betrayal? Is it a lie? Is it they slept with an ex? Is it they stole from you? What does betrayal look like?
There was one friend who, and I didn't have a lot, but I gave for him to attend an event with us. It was traveling and the whole thing, and I paid money to help him go. He said, Barry, I got it. When we get back to blah, 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 and of course, we get back, and he ghosty, and he kind of in my face with it, and I was actually in a position of authority at the time, so I couldn't just show out because I had to protect my role and just the reputation, and everybody knew, and it was kind of public. So like,
Tricky.
so he just gonna in your face at happy hour buying the shrimps and everything, and I was like,
but it was happy hour. It was only $5.
I see. You know you ain't paid $5.
Barry said in Atlanta, nigga, they got crab claws for $5 over at the Boogaloo. I can't believe the South. These prices, the food can't be real here because the way they are pricing this food during happy hour is unreal. Nigga, they got unlimited crab legs as much as you could eat for $44.
What?
Unlimited, nigga. I thought I was gonna turn into a crab.
So
nigga,
when you get my ticket to the show,
listen, I'm gonna take
let's
you to
make the reservation.
you.
Y'all heard everybody timestamp this. You know she get the editing.
Right.
She get the editing things. I want to make sure we remember at this point, at minute 100, she said she got me. But
I'm not playing with you. But yeah.
I'm real big about my word. You can talk about me, you don't like something, you know, you've been in the whore house. They crack jokes every day.
Every day.
Don't say that I said something that I didn't say. Because all I can do is stand on my word, stand on my truth, stand on my honesty, stand on my faith. And for you to say I said something, you did something, say I broke my word to somebody, that bothers me. It's not like calling me a sucker. I mean, because that's them fighting words. But that's my only real thing. I mean, everybody's like playing the gay jokes. I'm not gay, I'm heterosexual, but those little things, the mama jokes. I mean, I was in St. Louis. You were raised on those things. I am dark skinned, and I'm very dark skinned. This camera doesn't show how I'm dark complected. Being black in the black community, you caught these
crazy?
jokes.
Yeah, this camera don't show how dark I am either. It's kind of crazy.
It doesn't show how. I know you didn't took the dimmer down. We all know you didn't.
I got the lights on me. It don't show my real melanin.
She got that OBS on, like, no. That light look like she buy candlelight just to make sure it's not too bright. I got a whole circle light. Listen. But I mean, it's just, that's my only real thing.
Okay.
I mean, for you, I know you a disrespect person. We all know what it is. I don't know, just like you talk about Mark, I don't know who disrespected you at some point in your life.
Everybody.
But
I've been the underdog. I've been the underdog my whole life. I've been fighting my whole life. My whole life I had to fight.
And even the way you said that, what accent was that? That was in no way whipping nobody.
Oh my goodness, let me live. You know I'm bad with accents, okay?
But
anywho, real quick, I guess to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Do you feel sorry for Kevin? Should you bring grace to this cookout?
I think anybody can ask for a handout. I think anybody can ask for assistance. I think anybody can ask for support. Get it. It does not mean. And you should not try to guilt them, nor should you attack them if for whatever reason they said no. If I owe you
I agree.
$10 and I refuse to give you your $10, if they were having a contract dispute about you didn't pay me from this album, you didn't pay me from the writing this, it would be one thing. It's like,
that's one
I
thing.
blew mine.
Yep.
You
Now
not
pay
only
me.
saved yours, but kept making more. I need you to make me right, make me whole again, though you've already paid me.
Yeah.
I mean, and not $5. He said he blew millions.
He blew millions and then was on that pod asking for 25,000.
Right.
Anyways, Kevin McCall, sir, go and find a therapist. That is going to be the final word on that. And Chris Brown, don't give that nigga a dime.
See, that's not my business.
Oh, well.
Chris, if you want to give him money,
nah,
just know it's your choice. It's your grace
Chris
that's giving
called
it
that
to him.
nigga a broke troll.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Brokey.
Christmas is coming. Be good. I'm just saying.
I mean, whatever. Anyways, before we get out of here, I did get an email over to the email. Again, if you want to submit an Am I Ignorant? If you have a question or you feel like you are ignorant, maybe you're not, and you want me to help decide, make sure you send that over to Selective Ignorance Pod, pod@gmail.com. That's Selective Ignorance Pod@gmail.com. Now, this one, I ain't going to say your name, sis, but this is what she had to say, and I love that Barry is here to help me decipher this. So if you recall, last week I read a thread of a woman who secretly chose to have an abortion of a baby from a man that she's with, who she believed to be perfect, who she made the decision without talking to him. And so this is what this listener had to say. All right, this is our classmate here. So, by the way, there's a lot of O's on this to start this. So I feel like she already know where we going. So, Mandii, I just finished listening and I had to write in LOL because I've been in homegirl's position. I too aborted a pregnancy from a good man who checks off most women's checklist. He was considered a good catch, a 40-year-old man that has no kids and wanted some badly, especially with me. But I just couldn't see me spending my life with him because as good as he was, there were things about him I just didn't love. And I wasn't trying to create a broken home. If I have kids, I want to have a family. So I aborted and never told him about it. And it wasn't to protect him. It was because I knew he would have begged and maybe even tried to press me to keep it. So I don't know. Are we ignorant for that? I don't think so, but I feel like that's what it was for her too. She knows he would try to convince her otherwise, and her mind was made up. I'm not saying it's right by no means, but sometimes we have to do what's right for us. Now, I'm just going to read you real quick, sis. And I'm going to read all these bitches out here who fucking on niggas that they don't really fully like, that they don't want to procreate with. Do you want to know what's ignorant? Fucking these motherfuckers raw. How about if you want to take the ignorance out of it, if you are having sex and laying down with a man that you don't want to procreate with, bitch, wrap it up. Use a condom or simple as much, get on birth control. This idea that you don't want to create a broken home, yet you would rather lay on a table and go through an abortion and possibly not only impact your body, but literally do something that you know would affect this man. If you are having sex with a man that wants children and you don't want children with him, the ignorant part is having sex with him raw. Literally wrap it up and make the safe, respectable, non-ignorant decision. And literally using some sort of barrier and birth control. Because I do think the ignorant part about how we are moving in today's society with the laws that are keeping us from really choosing if we want to have an abortion or not, especially in certain red states, the health that we're impacting on ourselves and the emotional impact that we can have on others when literally our body, our choice. If you know you don't want to have a baby with a man, the logical thing to do is just to wrap it up. Simple as that. Barry, what are your thoughts?
You know, as you know, we had this chat, and those were a ton of my thoughts. I'm like, this N-word here just went first for no reason. But first and foremost, safe place, women's choice, women's rights, your body, your choice. Hard stop, so there's no cutting this all apart and saying something different. But this was triggering.
However, Barry.
However, this was triggering in so many ways.
Why was it triggering?
I'm not going to tell him.
Yeah. Has this happened to you? I mean, clearly you would have known, but you don't know technically, to your knowledge.
I would hope that I had a good enough reputation and relationship with anyone I had unprotected sex with that they would have felt comfortable having a conversation with me.
Right.
I'm not perfect. I have had unprotected sex before. I would hope anyone in my past.
You a father, nigga.
Exactly.
Of course you had unprotected
outside
sex.
of my marriage.
Okay.
Which is over, by the way.
He said, "Slide in them DMs, ladies."
Here we go. It's so touchy, and I don't want to fall into the internet trap. Oh, you hear what he said? It is your choice, but I always ask more questions. We talk all the time. We have a long thread, and I'm never really judging, but I'm always asking more questions.
Can I ask you though, as a man believing in your body, your choice, and essentially a woman making the final decision, do you then believe that it is a conversation that should be had with the male partner? And then what are your thoughts? Because both women also expressed that they felt like they would be gaslit or begged to keep a baby that they didn't want. What then do you have to say to what that dynamic could look like?
If you're saying he's perfect, why do you then also make the judgment that he would be a jerk about it or he would force you to do this? It's give me the right to at least give my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think giving somebody information takes away their right to make the final decision. I would always hope that they would give them an honest, true opportunity to give some information. Now, it doesn't mean, oh, just have the baby and I'll take care of it. I mean, that, like you said, pregnancy is a risk thing. It's not a small thing. So they still have the right to take everything into consideration. But just in the two stories, it wasn't the jerk who got them pregnant. It wasn't.
It was the perfect guy.
That's the part that throws me off. The perfect guy who wants kids. I mean, because we talk about, I don't want to get trapped. I don't want him trapping me. I don't want. Why are you having unprotected sex with the perfect person, relevant to you, of course, that wants to have kids, and you don't have enough trust relationship with them to even tell them that you're pregnant?
Yeah, you're right.
What was the perfect part? He was a sucker? That you could get whatever with stuff?
Well, it says that even in this one, she said that this man was a good man who checked off most women's checklists. Like he was considered a good catch, which is interesting because also just a 40-year-old man with no kids that wanted her badly. Who wanted kids badly. I guess she didn't dive into what made him a good man, but I guess being 40 with no kids makes you I don't know.
I mean, it makes you wonder, who would she want to have kids with? Because she says she kind of still, I don't know what her decisions are being made about when she would have a kid or if she would have kept a kid. But based on the scenario that she's putting forward, what was going to get better?
I don't know. She did just mention she couldn't imagine spending the rest of her life with him. But again, even that, like, so having unprotected sex with a man that, like, I just don't understand, y'all. The temporary
2025.
Bruh,
let's
go.
What are we talking about?
So yeah, I do believe that ignorance comes from your decision to lay down unprotected with a man that you don't see a future with, let alone a family with, because we do know the consequence
that
of
you
sex.
wouldn't be honest with. I mean,
that's a good point.
You
can't even be
I don't
honest
want
with
us
the
to
man.
touch on abortion rights too much. Just honest, open communication between a male and a female who are having
sex.
It's just that simple. And I know it's going to be triggering to some other guys out there, and even probably some women out there. So what? Because if I was your boy Ish right now, and I was stepping into his shoes, he would say, "But if she had the kid, he would have to step up. There would be no conversation, no choice."
Right.
But in the reverse of her wanting to do something different, no conversation, no choice,
No conversation
no input.
is crazy. Yeah. It is crazy.
That's what makes it hard for everybody who hates the misogynist or whatever term they're using about guys these days. It's these moments that you're like, it's not one-sided out here. People on both sides are being poor humans.
It's funny because you said being poor humans. We talked about what decision was ignorant. She's not ignorant for this, but with this decision, I wanted to go into is she a good person or bad person for it, right? Because last week I talked about morality, and I've also questioned what it means to show up as a good person, what it means to show up as a bad person. And I think that in terms of what you owe someone is, especially someone you're sleeping with, like you said, bro, the bare minimum is an honest conversation. Whether it be about your feelings, but a lot when you choose to lay in bed and open your legs to a man, the bare minimum is being able to have an honest conversation about what you're doing with your body, because you're allowing them in it.
Absolutely.
And so it does make you a kind of shitty person to feel like you can pick and choose what things you share about your body, especially with someone that you're laying with. So
let me ask you a question to put you on the spot for a second.
Go ahead.
Make her one of your girlfriends.
First off,
not one of them particularly, but make her a friend. Make her one of your people, and she's over the martinis or whatever y'all doing. She tells you this story.
I would respond in the same way, which is why, like, when me and Carla had the conversation, I'm very blunt. I'm very honest. I have a friend. It's so funny. Just found out she's 6 months pregnant. And I felt away like, damn, bitch, I'm finding out 6 months. And the crazy part is, we was having like a group conversation, me and a group of girls. And I ended up talking about not only Cardi B and her deciding to have the baby by Stefan and how motherfucking stupid she was. I talked about another friend that I know, that 2 other friends that got pregnant, knowing a guy within 3 months. She knew this guy 2 months and was pregnant and is choosing to keep this baby. So she's like, the way you were talking about them other girls, I felt like I couldn't share because I already knew what you was going to say. And so I was like, yep, it still feel that way. Damn. But to me, I'm very honest with how I believe people should be showing up in these, I'm going to call it interpersonal relationships, because a lot of times they're romantic. They're just sexual. They don't have the layers that are really required for, I think, people to have before bringing life into this world together. So they're just they don't know each other. And so I would say the same thing I just said to this bitch, I would say to a friend, like, bro, you dead ass wrong for not telling this nigga you aborted the baby. And mind you, I was 16 years old.
Before that you were,
Barry.
The only thing is, I don't know that I didn't read the letter, memorize it. Does she say how long they've been together?
That's the thing. I wonder if they're even really together. I don't know. She said that he's considered a good kid. She wants it with me, but I can't imagine spending the rest of my life with him. There were things about him I just didn't love. Like, so I just don't even know if they were really together, if they was just fucking. I'll be honest with you. All I know is she's a grown-ass adult. And baby, let me tell you right now, at 16 years old, when I got pregnant, I had to man the fuck up and not only let this nigga know that I was having a baby because I was pregnant, but that I wasn't going to have the baby. And to be fair, at 16 years old, I was guilt tripped. Yes, that nigga swore up and down I was killing his seed. He had a boy already. He just knew I was giving him a girl. Mind you, it's a dot. And so at 16 years old, yeah, it was fucked up. I felt gaslit. I felt like a terrible fucking human being. I did make a decision that was not the same decision as the person that I laid up with. I did get pregnant off of the first time fucking a nigga because my dumb ass thought that no way I was going to get pregnant in the first year of me fucking. I was dumb. I was naive. But what I did was make a grown ass goddamn decision to lay with this man unprotected. And when shit got fucking real, I had to have that real ass conversation with him. So I think that for any grown ass woman acting like they're just not emotionally capable to hold a real goddamn ass adult conversation, you not adult or mature enough to be fucking raw then. Simple as that.
Right. I mean, once again, your body, your choice. If you can make such a strong decision on yourself, but still not have the confidence in yourself to have a simple conversation, that just strikes me as an imbalance.
Period.
Yeah.
Motherfucking period.
Yeah.
Barry, gonna have to do this again. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Barry from 1912 joining us in a 2025 conversation.
And everybody who represents the Orlando school district.
That's crazy.
If you want somebody to come forth and say she does not represent us in any way with her new words, I completely understand.
What word did I create this pod?
I try not to take it in because it may accidentally become part of my repertoire. I was like, no, Barry, that wasn't a word. Ignore it. Just skip. But it's all good. It's a good conversation. I see some of the risk in these type of conversations, but I see the need for some of these conversations as well. Kind of going back to the Marc thing is, I mean, and actually going back to our podcast we did with you and Ish, I've always said, I can do a little ratchet, I can do a little community, I can do a little hip hop, but I always think there has to be a little room for a conversation that's going to broaden our minds and help us as a community take the next step, or even have just a conversation that we've been uncomfortable having. And I'm always going to be pro that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Barry, thank you for joining me on this Friday episode. Y'all already know it's Selective Ignorance. If you want to watch the full video and see all of the action figures that probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting right behind Barry, you can join our Patreon, support this podcast. It is self-funded. I ain't making no money, y'all. This is all me right now. Shut up.
Don't do it.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Don't. Damn boy.
See, you can see him fighting with his middle finger if you join us on Patreon, where you can watch the full video. It's patreon.com/Selective Ignorance Pod. Y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Barry, thank you for joining me. We're going to have to do this again when stuff get on the timeline that are like, hey, yo, I got things to say that ain't going to make me lose my job.
Facts. Because, you know, I have opinions on everything, but I got these bills.
And guess what? Whether the government shut down, whether the world ends, you know what's not going to stop? These bills.
Facts.
These bills going to keep on coming. Anyways, y'all make sure you check out next week's episode. Again, new episodes drop every Tuesday and every Friday. Thank you again so much for tuning in.
Peace.
We out. Bye.